My wife got pregnant with our first son through IVF in January of 2020. And we were very excited because it was a very long family building process, and everything, was great. We, got checkups all the time. She was a little bit older, in her kind of early 40s and 40. So, we're getting checked up, getting the monitoring really, really consistently. We were very excited. Obviously, everything was going really well. And then kind of out of absolutely nowhere, my wife noticed a little bit of blood at 24 weeks, and we went to the hospital. And from that point on, it was just a whirlwind of just what just happened. She had dilated with no cramping, no nothing. She had dilated to, I think, 4 centimeters, and her amniotic sac was bulging through her cervix. So, and there was no pain, no warning, no nothing. So from that point on, she was in the hospital. We were both in the hospital for 5 days, where they tried to kind of prevent the labor from occurring. And she never really went into labor. But then after 5 days, she did have to have an emergency C-section. So we went into the OR, we kind of rushed into the OR, and our son Sebastian came out. He was alive when he came out. The doctors tried to get his heart to stabilize for a little bit, about 20 minutes, but it never stabilized. So I was in there, and then once they weren't able to get his heart to stabilize, they handed him to me, and then he died in my arms. So I mean, that was a pretty very, very rough experience, as you can imagine. But, through a lot of time in therapy and kind of the grieving process, I've been able to, feel very happy that I was able to kind of hold him for his last moments of life. So that was rough. And he was our first little guy, so he's still incorporated into our life. His journey, as far as we're concerned, didn't end there. We take a very kind of inclusive view of this, and thinking about kind of life after death, and that his kind of spirit and such, I guess, if that's the best word I can think of to use, is kind of still with us. We still think about him, we talk about him. So he's still very present in our lives. And we do still, even on his birthday, we still celebrate, his birthday as a family, kind of privately. So, and I think that helps us kind of keep him alive in our minds, because he's our son. He's our first son, and he's the individual that made my wife and I mothers, and that's never going to change, no matter if he's here or not. So it's important for us to keep him in our lives in that manner. So yeah, he's still with us, and he's still lets us know he's around all the time. He's a great little guy.